Am I the idiot for telling my sister-in-law why I've missed her wedding ceremony? I, female 24, have a brother who is getting married to Victoria. Female 25, Vic and I have a very good relationship. Last year, my brother proposed. Vic took the lead for all the wedding preparation because she is taking a gap year between jobs. My brother easily supported both of them and the wedding. So whenever we have questions about the wedding, she is the person we need to talk to. Important background info. I'm allergic to nuts and coconuts. I don't need an EpiPen, but I have massive diarrhea. Last time I had a reaction, I was so dehydrated I needed to go to the hospital. For the wedding day, we have a caterer planned for an only family brunch, then it's the ceremony, and then we have a celebration with all the guests. So for the meals at the wedding, I texted 2 months in advance to Vic to ask if I would be able to eat, and told her my specific food allergies, in case she forgot. I told that if not, I would be able to bring my lunch and eat amongst everyone without any problem. It's something I do sometimes at big family gatherings, because I don't expect everyone to be extra careful every time for me. Vic told me that everything should be fine. 4 days before the wedding, I texted again to be sure, and she said that the menu does not contain any of my allergens. Wedding day, on the family brunch, I started to feel bad in my tummy. I privately asked the chef if anything contained any nut/coconut, and hold and behold, the sauce for the egg contained coconut. I excused myself and went back home, 20 minutes away from the venue. After this, well, you can imagine the toilet became my best friend. I spent the next 5 hours on the toilet. I texted my brother to excuse myself, that I won't be able to come to the ceremony and I would try to come to the celebration. So around 8 hours after the brunch, I was able to go back to the celebration. I gave my wedding toast to my brother and after, Vic came to me and asked why I was absent from the ceremony. I told her that the brunch did contain coconut, and I spent the whole day on the toilet. I'm glad I was able to come back to the ceremony, and did not need to go to the hospital. She then left back to my brother, and spent the rest of the evening talking to guests. Next day, I've received many texts from my brother, saying I was an SSHL to tell her during her wedding day that she was responsible for me being sick and that I should have told her some lies to make her happy. He told me she cried the whole wedding night about this. Since then, I've received texts from family members, friends, bridesmaids, who called me an *SS for ruining her wedding night. I'm starting to believe was an *SS and should have said to her a false reason explaining my absence during the ceremony because it ruined her evening. So, am I the idiot? Should I have lied to her? Now for a few comments before the update. It was important to let her know the truth. If she had caterers who promised not to use an ingredient, and then they did, she needs to figure out why this happened and maybe get something credited back. Someone could have died. Her emotions were aimed at the wrong person, not the idiot. Then the original poster responded with, "This is a really good point. Right now, sister-in-law and my brother are in low contact with me, but it is something I'm going to investigate further." Comment 2. Not the idiot. Her reaction is not your responsibility, unless you told her directly, or passively, that it was her fault. Then the original poster responded with, "She may easily blame herself for it, because she was the one organizing the whole event and therefore, chose the menu. But I didn't say explicitly that it was her fault or her mistake." Now for the update. 4 to 5 days after the wedding and the Reddit post, after all of those comments and reflections, I've texted my sister-in-law. I said that I was sorry that everything happened the way it did. But I was not wrong to tell her the truth, and this whole situation could have been very dangerous. I did my part by asking her about the allergies, and even with that, a reaction happened. But I do feel sad that she passed a bad night indirectly because of me. Victoria called me after my text and said she understood my situation and the fact it could have been very dangerous. She assured me she called and emailed the caterer informing them of all the allergies and food requirements. She said then that a part of her is mad at me because she thinks I should have told her the next day, but it's on her to work on that and to process those feelings. When she came back from her honeymoon, we investigated this. After many calls, we found the problem. The caterer has 2 sub-teams. The main one, supper, was the one Victoria informed about the food requirements. It was their responsibility to inform the morning team about it. It's actually impossible to contact the morning team directly. All the administration is on the main/supper team. One of the workers of the morning team sent us their email stating all the food requirements, and surprise, the coconut was absent. So the lady in the main team whom Victoria was working with miswrote the email and forgot to state about the coconut to the morning team. Plus, coconut is not considered a common allergen, so it is rarely written on the menu pamphlet. The catering, to excuse themselves, reimbursed the whole bill for the morning and supper. It was a very fancy catering business, so the bill was quite high. They even gave an additional sum for me, at the condition we don't sue. Victoria left me with the choice, and I chose to take the money. I know there is a possibility to get more if we sued, but in the end, no one died and I didn't want to go through a whole suing process. Plus, this whole situation could have been avoided if I went to the chef beforehand, so in court that would have played against us. My brother and Vic did a whole post on their wedding Facebook group about this situation. They said that the incident was not their fault, nor mine, but the catering business who took responsibility for their action. After it, many of the family members who wrote insults excused themselves about their comments. My brother is still bitter about this situation and still thinks I could have simply waited a day before telling the bride about the incident. But Vic and I are closer now than we were. So this is a happy ending. And I can only wish the catering will learn their lesson and create a better system for allergies. And for now, I will always double check with the catering business on next weddings. Comment 1. As many people have pointed out in the original post, your brother needs to be thankful that his wedding didn't end with a funeral. Vic sounds way more mature than him. I'm sure you know that some forms of allergy can lead to an intensifying reaction with every exposure to the allergens. I'm also guessing you were on the toilet alone, and could have dehydrated and gone into cardiac arrest from lack of electrolytes with no one around to help. Your brother needs to get over himself and appreciate still having a sister. Then the original poster responded with, Vic was very mature and thoughtful in this whole situation after. She took my defense early on when she learned all the comments I had from my family. But yeah, my brother doesn't let things go easily. I think the bride and the groom should not have any negativity during their wedding, and because the situation was done and no one was hurt or dead, she didn't need to know right away. My mother is actually on my side and thinks he is acting like a child, because he is still giving me cold shoulders. Work in progress. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Seriously, you're the idiot here. Your sister-in-law went above and beyond to accommodate your allergies and even communicated with the caterers to ensure the menu was safe for you. It's not her fault that there was a mistake on the part of the catering team. You should have waited until after the wedding to discuss the issue, instead of ruining her special day. Your selfishness is astounding. And now you've taken money from the catering business as well? You're just looking for a payout. Your brother is right to be bitter. You've caused unnecessary drama and tarnished what should have been a joyous occasion. Grow up and take responsibility for your own actions. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my parents I can't take my sister from foster care for 2 months? I, female 22, have a younger sister, female 18, who's aging out of foster care. I had the luck of being adopted, whereas she did not. She had an arrangement to stay with her foster parent, though to my knowledge the foster parent suddenly changed her mind despite charging her money to stay there right now. She's set to need somewhere to go by August, but my lease ends in November. I currently have a female 25 roommate who isn't comfortable living in our 2-bedroom apartment with someone she's never met. My parents, who have 2 guest bedrooms, keep insisting that I need to entirely disregard my roommate's opinion, despite her being on the lease and paying her share of rent every month, that I simply have to tell her my sister is coming and she has no say. My roommate and I have already considered other options, sorting out a new apartment and have it ready by August. This isn't feasible because she can't be on 2 leases. I can't afford this one alone, and my little sister will need several months to become financially stable enough to pay bills like rent. I am physically unable to carry her financial weight. We are willing to get separate leases come November, where I can then take in my sister, granted my parents are willing to step in if she doesn't have the money, because again, I am not in a position where I can keep her afloat, but I have been insistent that it can happen until then. As a result, my parents are calling me selfish and telling me that I'm choosing my friend over my sister, who desperately needs my help. I am frustrated because if they are that upset about it, they can spare a bedroom. After all, they are the one making the demand that I have to take her. That's what makes sense to me. Regardless, am I the idiot? Edit. A lot of people have asked, so I'm just going to put it here for context. The parents in question are my adopted parents. Our biological parents are dead. The only reason we ended up split up in the foster care system was because the state made a mistake only removing me from the home before our bio parents died, and by the time they realized this, the bio parents had fled the state with my siblings. They died 8 years later, which is when my siblings ended up in foster care. Not to mention, until I found them and made contact, the state they were in didn't even know I existed. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot, your current roommate has legal rights and adding another roommate is also up to the landlord. Have you looked into that? Then the original poster responded with, she has no credit or income, so if we tried to add her they'd deny her pretty fast. But yeah, she does have legal rights and she said no, so it's just a whole what TF do we do with her for 2 months. Comment 2. I need some more information. When you say parents, you mean your adopted parents, right? What is their relationship like with her? What about you? Why would they take one kid but not another? Then the original poster responded with, yep, my adopted parents. Ultimately, I have a good relationship with her, even if it is over sparse visits and text/FaceTime. I am probably closer with her than my parents are, but they have tried to be involved, so it's baffling to me now that they aren't willing to lend a bedroom for a couple months and trying to make me do it when I am unable to. Edit. For context, we were separated as children. I was the only child placed in foster care, and by the time the state realized they fricked up, my bio parents had already fled the state with my siblings. They only ended up in foster care later because their parents died. My message got wonky, sorry, so I'm just slapping my OG explanation here. My other sibling has other arrangements, as she's aged out for a while and is doing well but also can't take her, and my other hasn't aged out yet. He's severely autistic and none of us have the ability to give him the constant care he needs. So when he ages out, that will also be tricky. Now for the update. Hi guys, this is a pretty simple update, but for starters things have somewhat resolved themselves without much from me, which is one huge relief. Essentially, I urged my little sister to continue to look into other things, contact her social worker, utilize the resources that some of y'all, my roommate, and I found. I informed her of just about everything I could, transitional housing, etc. Then, I ended up telling my parents something that I think got through to them, which was in a sense that I am trying to live my life, get my education and start my career, and that can't happen if I'm responsible for her. Truthfully, taking her on with or without my roommate's approval would have been so much more than the risk of eviction, which yes, it's in our lease. Sorry I didn't get back to some of you on that. It would have been the financial stress of taking on a kid, legal adult, but she is still a kid, who doesn't know how to handle bills and general budgeting, would have no transportation, we don't live near buses and Ubers are a good $40 here, no money, etc. I love her, I care for her, but the point was made to my parents when I emphasized that I'm worrying about me right now. I've lived with people who don't pull their weight, and as much as I sympathize with her inability to, I'm not in a position where I can take that responsibility on again. I'm not sure what about it got through to them, but it did, and they backed off. They agreed. They're offering to get her an apartment and help her find a roommate, while covering her rent while she adjusts. They had their own valid reasons for not wanting her in their house, and if things go well with her, they'd cover her transportation to school/work until they would get her a car. The plan is to essentially slowly work her up to paying for everything, and it's ultimately a good situation for her. She has 2 plans lined up right now, both feasible, each with help from willing parties, and they have left the ball in her court. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Wow, you are incredibly selfish and self-centered. Your sister is about to age out of foster care, and instead of stepping up to help her, you prioritize your own convenience and your roommate's comfort. Family should come first, and you clearly don't understand the meaning of that. Your parents are right to call you out on your selfishness. It's their responsibility to take care of your sister, not yours or your roommates. Your excuses about leases and finances are just that, excuses. You're just looking for an easy way out. Your sister deserves better than a sibling who abandons her when she needs help the most. I hope your parents find a way to support her and give her the love and care she deserves, despite your lack of empathy and compassion. Comment 2. I hate how the foster system just ages out a kid. That usually means prison. You amaze me that you could pull together such a great plan for her. I hope she has enough strength and self-worth to accept. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day. Am I the idiot for not watching my husband's kids so he can go on a trip? When my husband and I met, he made it clear to me that he wasn't looking for someone to be a parent to his children. His kids had 2 parents already, and he was just looking for someone that he could have a relationship with, that could be a positive role model. We dated, got married. Everything was fine. I wasn't allowed to discipline his kids, and I also wasn't responsible for them. His ex had primary custody and he just had them on the weekends, and typically he spent his time taking them out and stuff. Am I the idiot for not watching my husband's kids so he can go on a trip? When my husband and I met, he made it clear to me that he wasn't looking for someone to be a parent to his children. His kids had 2 parents already, and he was just looking for someone that he could have a relationship with, that could be a positive role model. We dated, got married. Everything was fine. I wasn't allowed to discipline his kids, and I also wasn't responsible for them. His ex had primary custody and he just had them on the weekends, and typically he spent his time taking them out and stuff. His ex died in a car accident last year. We now have sole custody. I'm fine stepping up and doing more for them. I cook for them, help with homework here and there, etc. He's upset because he never really wanted kids, they're twins, and being a full-time parent sucks. He wants me to do school drop-offs so he can get more sleep, but that's not really what I signed up for. He's the one who told me he doesn't want another parent for his kids. His friend's bachelor party is next weekend. They're going out of town for the weekend and he wants me to watch his kids for 3 days. I told him no. I don't want to spend my weekend wrangling 2 6-year-olds by myself, who will probably be upset with him gone. They've never been away from both parents before, and they've been extra clingy to him since their mom died. I know they probably spend the whole weekend crying. He thinks I'm being a major idiot because he wants a break, and he can never make up for missing that weekend. I think he's not being fair to me or his kids. I don't think going golfing and going to a strip club with friends should be more important than your young children. Am I the idiot? Edit/update. A lot of you have said that the way things are currently aren't working. And I agree. To this day, I'm still not allowed to discipline the twins, and the other day he yelled at them for accidentally calling me mom. It seems like he just wants to keep being the weekend dad and wants me to be the nanny, not their mom. I sat down and had a talk with him this morning about what we want in the future. He said that he wants me to step up and do more for the kids. I brought up the topic of them possibly calling me mom, and me legally adopting them. Because without me adopting them, if we divorce ever, I'll have no rights to seeing them. I don't want to become a parent to kids that I have no rights to. He said that them calling me mom and me adopting them would be disrespectful to his ex's memory. We talked some more, but he absolutely refused. He just wants me to watch them more so he can have more free time. Still can't discipline them. So I told him that in that case I will no longer be doing any childcare for him, and I'll be rethinking our relationship. He's absolutely pissed, and thinks I'm overreacting. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Now for a few comments before another update. I'm pretty shocked at the responses you're getting. I didn't see anywhere in your post that you don't like the twins. What I'm seeing is that he deliberately kept you from having a deeper relationship with them. Now he's the one with primary responsibility, and lo and behold, he wants you to take more of a role. He's the one who set the rules. It's on him to bring all 4 of you together as a family. It sounds like he's sticking his head in the sand about this situation of his own making. I feel like there's resentment from you, like before you weren't good enough to be their mother, but now he has no choice. You're the mom by proximity. I think I wouldn't feel really good about that myself. You and he need therapy. Find a way to work together to be the parents the children need, because they're utterly innocent in all this. They deserve people who care for them and who will strive to do their best for their needs. Their father certainly isn't, from what you've described here. Comment 2. Not the idiot. He is operating from his own needs and wants. First, he wanted for you to be a fun girlfriend, because it suited him. He robbed you of the chance to bond with the kids. Now he wants a babysitter, a housekeeper. There'll come a day again, when he takes this away from you and assigns you something else, whether it was something you wanted for yourself or not. You have a selfish man. It's time to think what you want with your life. Now for the update. Many of you said that the arrangement we had before wasn't working, and the children need us to step up and be good parents. And I agreed. My husband, however, wants me to do the childcare chores, school pickups and drop-offs, laundry, making dinner, etc., but won't let the kids call me mom. They've done it on accident and he's yelled at them. He won't let me adopt them, and I can't discipline them. I can't put them in timeout for bad behavior. Basically, he wants me to do the chores to make his life easier while he's their only real parent. I mentioned to him my concerns, that I don't think it's fair to them to deny them a mother when they obviously want one. I also don't want to build a stronger emotional bond with children that I have no legal rights to. I couldn't imagine that I become their full-time caretaker, and then we get divorced and I never get to see them again. That wouldn't be fair to me or them. The woes of being a step-parent, I guess. Despite all my concerns, he's not budging. I've told him that in that case, I want a divorce. I contacted a divorce attorney, that's a personal friend, yesterday, and I was advised to give him 30 days notice to move out, before starting an eviction process. The house is mine from before we were married. My husband is mad because I'm the breadwinner, $200K versus $40K, and he can't afford to house his children in the same school district and give them the same quality of life. He wants me to give him my house, for the sake of the children. Yet I don't think he's ever cared that much about what's best for them. I'm terribly sorry for the kids, that their mom died and their dad sucks as a parent. But I can't resolve myself to be an unpaid babysitter for their sake. It's obvious I wasn't being viewed as an equal partner. I think I'm done dating parents. My cat is done dealing with kids too. Edit, guys, he's not getting alimony. I live in an anti-alimony state, and we were married for a year. We also have a prenup. I have a good lawyer. I don't need the... Oh, he's definitely getting alimony. Comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. He made damn sure that you know they aren't your kids. Not your problem. Good for you for seeing through someone who was taking advantage of you. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Those poor kids lost their mom, and you're just coldly walking away because you don't want to deal with the responsibilities that come with being a step-parent. You knew what you were getting into when you married a man with children. It's not about being a fun girlfriend anymore. It's about being a caring and supportive partner and parent. You're only thinking about yourself and your rights. What about the kids' rights to have a stable and loving home? You're their stepmother, and whether you like it or not, you have a role to play in their lives. It's not about babysitting. It's about being a compassionate adult figure they can rely on. Divorce will only make things worse for those children, and you don't seem to care about that at all. You make a lot more money than your husband, and yet you want to kick him out of the house? How heartless can you be? You need to seriously reconsider your priorities and think about what's best for those innocent children. Seek therapy and try to work things out, because right now, you're failing as a step-parent and a partner. The kids deserve better, and so does your husband. Step up and be a responsible adult. Comment 3. Not the idiot. But absolutely move any paperwork or valuables out of the house while he is still there. Leave only the basics. He will break or steal poop. This dude is a user. Now, for the next story. Would I be the idiot if I asked my stepdad to walk me down the aisle instead of my dad? When I, female 28, was 4 years old, my dad cheated on my mom with his now wife and mom divorced him. She got 50-50 in custody. I hated going to my father's house because I didn't want his wife to tell me what to do. My dad reduced his time when he got married. I was 6 at that time and wasn't even invited to his wedding, but his stepkids were. His excuse was that I am still bitter and will ruin the ceremony. Over time, he only paid just the child support, and I was completely neglected. When my dad had my half-brother, he was busy with him and ignored me. He even stopped taking me to his house for the weekends. He would ignore me. He would tell me that he wouldn't talk to me unless I act like a good child, aka call my stepmom, Mom, rather than her name. He would make excuses not to take me to ice cream or do any activities. There was a time when I graduated elementary school and he promised that he and I would go fishing. He ghosted me and told my mom there was an emergency. I was again abandoned. By that time my mom started dating my stepdad, Lenny. Lenny was the father I never had. He was a single dad, but he still treated me like his own child. He taught me how to swim, how to drive my car. He attended all the school functions I was in. He was there every time my dad abandoned me. I went very low contact with my dad, only contacting him on Christmas. I don't even call him on Father's Day. So fast forward to now, I am getting married. I have asked Lenny to walk me down the aisle because he is the only dad I have ever known. My dad and his family will be coming as a guest. This infuriated my dad. He told me I am his only daughter. I shouldn't keep him away from his rights as a father. I am getting calls from his side of the family too. My father is upset, and I am sidelining him. According to him, he has been a great father, and I am being unfair to him. Also, he doesn't want Lenny to walk me down the aisle at all. I told my dad he can walk his stepdaughter on the aisle, and he will only be a guest. I have made my decision. He called an idiot and told me he didn't pay child support just so I could grow up to be an ungrateful brat. So was I wrong? I know he is my dad, but I just don't feel like he is. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. My wife chose not to have her father walk her down the aisle as she has a similar relationship with him as you describe. It isn't his right to walk you down the aisle because he donated some DNA. You owe him nothing. Seems like Lenny has earned that right. Get Lenny, your father, to walk you down the aisle. Sperm man can do one. Have a wonderful and magical day. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Serious question, why even invite him at all? I don't mean to exclude him out of spite or pettiness. I mean that after a lifetime of shutting you out in every possible way, he's lost any significance as a family member, let alone a father. For all practical purposes, he is a complete stranger almost, because he has just enough of a connection to you to cause perpetual heartache and disruption in your life. Maybe now would be a good time to sever that tie for good. Now for the update. Sorry guys, I didn't get the time to respond to replies, but I did read them in my spare time. I am currently at the airport waiting for our plane to our honeymoon, so I thought I should give you an update. And I got married 2 days ago. I can say that I am relieved to know people don't think I am doing a bad thing. So I did just that. I just texted my dad that I am not changing my decision. If he wants to come to my wedding, he can. I am not going to force him. That didn't work. He called my mom and asked to talk to me about this situation. I was hoping he would drop this, but no. He had to act as an entitled person. I wrote him a long-ass message. I did not want to talk to him without getting interrupted. My dad interrupts a lot. I told him that give me one good reason that I should let him walk me down the aisle when he has never been a dad in my life. He never cared enough to make his marriage work with mom and decided to betray her and our family. Despite all of that, I still loved him, but every time he left me and abandoned me. Lenny has been my dad growing up. I doubt he even knows anything about me. He is just some guy who used to pay my child support and with whom I shared DNA. He is nothing like my dad because he missed all the big events in my life. He never cared or even tried to be there for him, and he has the audacity to call me his daughter. Since he didn't do his fatherly duties, I don't think I should do any daughter duties towards him. How can he possibly think he could give me away when he already gave me away 20 years ago? A few minutes go by and then he calls me and asks if this is what I have thought about him my entire life. I asked him where he was when I was graduating. Where was he when I won first prize in my dancing competition? Where was he when I needed someone to guide me? I dare him to tell me one thing about me. How much does he know about me? When was the last time he initiated any conversations with me? He went silent. He asked me if I was still mad about the past. I told him the past was the reason I know he is an unreliable man. All these years, if he has taught me anything, it is that he is a shitty father, and someone like him cannot be trusted. I made the biggest mistake of my life believing he would come through. The only reason I never even bother is because of what he did in the past. Lastly, I will not push him to come to my wedding. That is his choice. It's not that he is paying for it anyways. That was it. Later I got a message from my stepmom that what I said has broken my father. He is very much upset. I told her, well, if he was upset by the truth, then he shouldn't have asked and pushed my buttons. He has ignored me all my childhood. He doesn't get to play the dad. My wedding went smoothly. I would say the majority of my father's side of the family bailed. I had mom's side and some of Lenny's family as well. But overall it was fine. I cannot be more thankful to Lenny. Though it still hurts getting betrayed by my own dad, I am okay. My kids will know Lenny as their grandfather. Comment 1. You broke his fantasy that he was a good father. That's what his current issue is. Stepmom can pound sand cause she wasn't the one that suffered. It's amazing how abusers want everything to be in the past. Glad to hear the wedding went well. Your real father, Lenny, is the man. Bet he's gonna spoil his grandchildren relentlessly. Enjoy your life with your chosen family. You earned it. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Wow, you're a real piece of work. Your dad is right. You're being an ungrateful brat. He's your father, and you should respect that. Lenny has no right to walk you down the aisle. He's just your mom's boyfriend. You're clearly just trying to hurt your dad and make him feel bad. You're so cold-hearted, it's no wonder he didn't want to be around you. And now you're trying to cut him out of your life completely? That's just cruel. I hope your dad's family. Am I the idiot for choosing my sister-in-law over my brother? I, 17, female. My brother is 29, female. And my sister-in-law is 29, female. My brother Jake, fake name, and sister-in-law Ashley, fake name, had been together since they were 15. They got married when they were 20 and have 3 kids together. Ashley and I have always been close. She's like the big sister I never had. My whole family loves and adores her, and she and Jake always seem to have the perfect relationship. A couple of weeks ago, Jake went on a trip with some friends for the weekend because it was one of their birthdays. Ashley didn't go and stayed home with the kids. However, during the trip, Jake only checked in with Ashley once, which was when he arrived at the destination, and never again after that. It was unusual because he's always on his phone and told Ashley and my family that he would check in. Ashley decided to call one of Jake's friends to see if something had happened, but when his friend answered, he told Ashley that there was no trip and he had no idea where my brother was. After that, we told Ashley to come and stay with us for the rest of the weekend as she was a bit distraught. My brother eventually came home on Monday and said that he had lost his phone, which was absolute BS, and we all knew it. Before he returned, we asked Ashley what she wanted to do with what she knew. She told us not to bring it up with Jake and not to jump to conclusions, and that she will handle it. After my brother arrived, he and Ashley headed back to their house. A few days later, my brother massaged my mom to see if he could stay at ours for a bit, but he didn't say why. Not too long after, Ashley messaged us and told us that she confronted him about the trip and how she knew it didn't exist. He kept denying it and said that she was just being crazy and that he just lost his phone. He eventually confessed that he was at a coworker's house and that he had been hooking up with her for a few months. His excuse was that Ashley and him hardly had sex anymore, and so he needed to find someone to fulfill his needs. Ashley ended up kicking him out, and they decided to get a divorce. My brother ended up moving in with us until he found a place of his own and until the divorce was finalized. I haven't spoken to him since he moved in and don't plan to. All I can do is look at him in disgust. I have so much hatred towards him after what he did to Ashley. My parents are disappointed in him but still love him because he is their son. They told me to forgive him because he is my brother, but I just can't. I have started going to Ashley's every day after school to help with the kids and take some stress off her. My brother found out about this and is mad at me for going over there. He told me to cut her off since they are not together anymore, and says she is no longer a part of our family, so there is no need for me to go see or speak to her. I told him that she will always be a part of our family because she is the mother of your kids. Just because you fricked up your relationship with her doesn't mean I have to. I will always love her and I will not be cutting her off. I told him that I will choose her over you if it comes down to that. After that argument, he has not spoken to me or even looked at me. Every time he sees me, he walks the other way. My parents have told me to apologize and fix things with him, but I don't think that will ever happen. My other brothers have sided with him, and all think I'm a piece of poop for choosing Ashley over my brother. Deep down, I still love my brother and don't want to lose him, but what he did is unforgivable to me. Now, for a few comments before the update. Your brother is a prick. The rest of your family are enabling his bad behavior. Maybe when Ashley takes away the grandkids, they might change their tune. You are being a decent human being. Comment 2. I find your brother's behavior very bizarre. He cheats and then tells you to sever ties with the mother of your nieces and nephews. You are a good person for helping your sister-in-law. She sounds wonderful. Comment 3. He chose to make her family when he married her and was with her for over a decade. He brought her into the family fold. But he's not the only person in the family, and it's not up to him to dictate who is and who isn't family, just like it isn't their place to dictate who is and isn't family to you, meaning your POS brother. After over a decade, and actual blood-related nibblings, she's your family. Ask your mom if she'd be cool with your dad cheating on her and you choosing his side. Now for the update. Firstly, I just wanted to answer a common question I keep getting. Is my brother still in contact with his kids? No, he is not. He has not seen or spoken to them since he was kicked out. His own choice. Okay, so I have not spoken to my brother since our argument. He refuses to talk to me as well as acknowledge me. My parents still insist that I apologize and make things right with him. I have told them I would try to make things right, but I will not be apologizing. However, my brother does not want to hear anything I say. I have spoken with my parents about everything and how I feel. It was pointless. They don't even try to understand my side of things. It's just all about my brother to them. Ashley and the kids are doing great. Her family has come down to support her and help out. I also still go over there whenever I can. My parents have not seen the kids or spoken to them either. Ashley has made it clear that they can visit anytime they like, but because my brother doesn't want us to have anything to do with her, they refuse to go over. Ashley plans to gain full custody of the kids, to which my brother has agreed upon. This was the only time they have spoken to each other since they split up. Ashley is also planning to move closer to her parents, which I'm sad about but also happy for her and the kids. They deserve to be happy and away from all this toxicity. I don't know if my brother and I will ever fix our relationship, but I honestly don't care anymore. I'm planning to go no contact with him once he leaves. There's not much more to say. My brother is still behaving like a child and my parents and brother still stand beside him. Comment 1. I think it is so pathetic that your parents are giving up a relationship with their own grandchildren for a man who only cares about the wrong part of his anatomy. I wish Ashley all the best going forward with her and her kids' lives. A little advice: as soon as you can, go no contact with your parents and brother, since they are obviously punishing the wrong parties here, being Ashley, and the innocent parties being the kids. Any man who can walk away from his children for a fling isn't a man at all. Comment 2. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you're the idiot. Your brother may have messed up, but family comes first. You should be supporting your blood-related sibling, not his ex-wife. I get that you were close with her, but she's not your family anymore. Your parents are right. You need to apologize and fix things with your brother. Choosing your sister-in-law over him is just plain wrong. He's going through a tough time, and he needs his family to be there for him, not against him. It's sad to see how you're all turning your backs on him and siding with Ashley. Yes, what he did was terrible, but he's still your brother, and he deserves your support. Stop enabling his ex-wife's decision to cut him off from his kids and the family. Step up and be a better sister. Comment 3. What a pathetic human piece of garbage he is. I hope Ashley gets child support. Her kids deserve this. Your parents aren't good either. They are enabling your brother with his bad behavior. They took it too far by abandoning their own grandkids. I hope karma hits your brother like a train someday. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not telling my kids the real reason why me and their father divorced all those years ago? I, 35 female, have 2 teenage daughters, 18 and 16, with my ex-husband, 37. We were together until my daughters were 8 and 10 when I found out my husband had been cheating on me for almost 3 years. Before finding out, I had already checked out the relationship because while he was out with other women, I had to do 100% of the childcare plus work a full-time job, so I never had time to myself. We did try to make it work, but I just didn't love him anymore, so in the end, we divorced. We split everything down the middle. We both had 50-50 custody since he started shaping up into a decent father. We both decided that we would never tell our children the real reason because I wanted my daughters to have a good and healthy relationship with their dad. My ex-husband did end up marrying the girl he cheated on me with, but I harbored no hard feelings. I just wanted her to treat my girls right. Fast forward now, my ex-husband and his wife have 2 sons, 7 and 5, and I'm married to my husband, 40, and I'm currently 6 months pregnant with another girl. We all get along well, and there are no hard feelings towards anybody. Sometimes, when I take my girls out, I take their brothers, and when me and my husband and I need alone time, they will take the girls. Recently, my daughters started putting together the pieces using their 7-year-old brother's birth date, and when my and their father's divorce was finalized. My father and I didn't know they were doing this, but we did think it was weird that they asked us about our divorce until yesterday, when both of my daughters confronted me when I came home from work. I did try to deny it, but in the end, I told them what happened. They asked me why I didn't tell them, and I said because it was none of their business what happened in a previous marriage. Everyone is happy, and that's what matters. This caused a big fight between them, claiming it was their business. And now they are upset with me but also have been ignoring their father, which is hurting him and his family. Am I the idiot? Edit. A lot of you guys are saying that my girls aren't dumb and they would have found out. They aren't, but I didn't think they would try to go in depth of what happened in me and their father's marriage. The reason for the divorce was always that we just didn't love each other anymore. but we loved them. Another edit. I'm not trying to tell my girls how to feel at all. I just don't want them to have the thought in their head, what if my dad didn't cheat? Maybe they would still be together. Which isn't true. I want them to understand that regardless of if their dad was faithful, we would have divorced. We were young, and we thought that you were supposed to marry the person you had kids with. Of course, we loved each other, but as we grew older, we realized we just had different plans for life. My ex and I decided that we would sit them down later today and have a chat. Now for a few comments before the update. As a counselor, who admitted doesn't do a lot of marriage work, one thing that I think you're missing is that it is their business, at least emotionally. When we love someone, we don't want them to be hurt and betrayed. They obviously feel that dad hurt and betrayed you. It's also their business because maybe they were unhappy with the divorce and now know dad broke up the family. Maybe validate them loving you, but explain your healing process and why you value their relationship with their father. Then the original poster responded with, "Thank you for this advice. Them having a relationship with their dad is very important to me. I've healed a long time ago, and I'm incredibly happy about the outcome of this rough situation." Comment 2. Soft, you're the idiot for dismissing their feelings now. I understand why you didn't tell them, but now that they know, stop acting like they should just get over it. They could be upset at the life they could have had, and the betrayal of the family by their father. You and your ex should try and help them process their emotions and not just stomp it down because you think everyone is happy with the outcome. Comment 3. Not the idiot, but the girls do have a right to have their own feelings about this, and you shouldn't push them to let it go. For them, it's what broke their family up. To them, their dad put another woman before you and them by betraying his family. Stay out of it as much as you can. Then the original poster responded with, "I know I should stay out of it, but I don't want them to do something they would regret. I don't want them to take out their anger on their little brothers, especially since they look up to them." Now for the update. Today, my ex-husband, me, and the girls were supposed to have a family chat, but he had a family emergency concerning his wife because she had twisted her ankle at her 7-year-old son's soccer game. I hope she feels better. Anyways, they were understandably upset and took this as another sign that he was putting his new family over them. I didn't say anything and instead let them vent, and I comforted them. From what my ex-husband is saying, we would have to wait another time to have this conversation all together. Regardless, I still wanted to talk to my girls tonight. At first, it was incredibly awkward and the air was filled with tension. I could feel that they didn't trust me and it hurt because it's my fault. I started talking and I first apologized for telling them that it wasn't their business. I reassured them that everything that happened in their home was their business, and I was truly sorry for making them feel like they didn't matter because they were the most important things that ever happened to me. At this point, my 16-year-old started to cry a bit, which made me start to cry because I knew the news was a lot for her. I ended up telling them the reason why I kept it for so long, because I wanted them to have a good relationship with their dad and I didn't want them to worry about adult matters so young, especially when they already had a lot going on. I told them I just wanted to shield them from anything that could hurt them, which I then apologized for because, in the end, it was wrong and they deserved to know. I told them from now on I was gonna be more open to any questions they had about me and their father's marriage. I also explained that I wouldn't tell them how they should move on when it comes to their dad, and I would support them if they needed time away from them. I did tell them that any anger that they have towards their dad and stepmom, they should never take it out on their brothers. They said that they still loved their brothers, but they just didn't want to see their dad or stepmom right now. I asked them how they felt, and they were understandably upset and felt like they were easily replaceable, which broke my heart. I told them that their father has a lot to work on, but they can always count on me and they could never be replaceable to me. At this point, we were all crying while we were hugging. They ended up asking how I felt and I was truthful. I told them I was confused and I didn't know how to feel. By this point, we were quiet. My 16-year-old was laying her head on my belly while my 18-year-old was resting her head on my shoulder. I am gonna try to get my 18-year-old back into therapy. They do want to cut off their dad and stepmom, as a lot of you guys suspected, but they are afraid they won't see the boys anymore, which may be true. Regardless, my husband and I are 100% there for them. I'm very thankful for all the advice given. I was being completely selfish, which ended up hurting everyone even more. I don't know if I will make another upset because I'm 80% sure the family talk with my ex-husband will not happen. Comment 1. You are a good mom. An even better mom because you realize your mistake and how it hurt them. I hope your ex talks to them without making excuses and respect if they want to maintain low contact with him. As I said in the first post, your sins follow you when you don't own up to them, and that's what is happening with him. Comment 2. You're the idiot. You shouldn't have told them the truth. Keeping it hidden was the right decision. Now you've disrupted their view of their father and made them upset for no reason. They were living happily without knowing, and now you've brought unnecessary pain into their lives. Your daughters are acting immature, and you should have told them to deal with it and move on. It's not like your ex-husband cheated on them. It was between you and him. You should have shielded them from adult matters, as you initially did. Now you're indulging their emotions and encouraging them to cut off their father, which is unfair to him and his family. It's time to tell your daughters to grow up and accept that life isn't perfect. You've made a mess by opening this can of worms, and you need to fix it by telling them to move on and stop acting like spoiled brats. Comment 3. I think if they want to have or try to have a relationship with their father, therapy will be the way to go. Maybe even family counseling if they want to try. Because their feelings are valid, but they change and they may not feel as strongly in 10 years from now. They need to process their feelings on this. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.